So oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in chains and never even know we have the key. Maybe so oftentimes it happens that we live our lives in a bubble of comfort and never know we have the needle in our back pocket to pop it and make it right out. So if you're living in a bubble of comfort, if things feeling real cushy, things are feeling real nice and easy, and ooh, I could go pursue that. Oh, but no. Everything's good right here. Ooh, I could take that opportunity. No. Everything's good right here. If you want to be there, you want to stay the same, you want to remain who you are right now, cool. Stay in that bubble. But if you want to be more, it's time to do more. You can always be more because you can always do more, but you got to reach in that back pocket, burst that bubble, and go make yourself uncomfortable. Who's to say, who's to know? Any thoughts as we open up the show, Swore One?
Bro, I was writing down stuff left and right over here on this side. I'm telling you. Hey, Bubble Boy. Maybe I'm
Yeah?
not. I was even
Huh?
seeing in the comments, people are like, this taking away. Bro, I am not privy. Please forgive me that I don't know of this Bubble Boy. I'm gonna have to, I wrote it down. I'm like, what is this?
Pause.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Continue on. I'll put Bubble Boy up on the screen. Don't you worry.
So, hey, I guess other people know about it, but you know what I do know is I know what living in a bubble feels like. I know exactly what that feels like, and I've been there. I've been in a situation where, man, I couldn't get out of what I was doing because I was comfortable. You know what? It just reminded me as you were talking. I wrote it down. You ever watched a kid blow a bubble and they blow a bubble and that thing just floats off? Do they stay out there forever? No. Sooner or later, they dissipate, and no matter what happens, it pops, right? So you always have to understand whether you like it or not, that balloon's going to pop. That bubble's going to pop. It's not going to stay in the air forever. And I even wrote right here, if you don't pop the bubble, somebody or life will. That's why, hey, why are you going to burst my
Mm.
bubble? People say that stuff all the time, but that's the truth. Hey, people always are looking for a reason to pop your bubble. If anything, it makes theirs look better when you're sitting there worried about where you're going to land, right? That's the problem with it. So when you're out there thinking about, man, I got to get out of my comfort zone, you got to think about this. If you don't force your own hand, life will force it for you. And there's no two ways about it. That's why I said the other day, hey, the one thing that happens is change all the time. Every time you turn around, you get up. The one thing you might take the route, but the route doesn't look the same. The cars aren't the same. The traffic patterns aren't the same. It's always changing, right? So one day you're going to get up and you're going to get on that same route. There's going to be an accident there. You didn't expect it to happen. It wasn't there yesterday, right? But all of a sudden now, even though you got up at the same time, you're going to be late to work. Well, gosh, that burst my bubble today, right? You have the choice and the opportunity to make any of these decisions, to make a different way to go to work, to get up earlier. Like I did this morning to get my 100 push-ups in. I have to start doing my routine different. I changed my routine up because this was conflicting with everything else. The way it was working anyway, the way I had to get my day started, it wasn't working. So now, yesterday, I had so much time to get everything done. And all I did was get up 35 minutes earlier. It wasn't a crazy change, but 35 minutes changes everything. So I would always caution people, when you're looking to make a change, always make it one day at a time. Don't worry about what's coming on the other side. Cap worries about the outcome. Hey, I'm going to be this or that. Hey, I'm going to get the girl. I'm going to get to the end. Hey, let's just try to let's start with today. Let's get past today. Let's start something that we can both build on. And then once you get the job, the girl, the house, or whatever, you have to understand that's not the end of it. We talked about the hidden fees and all that. You have to maintain this, right? For that balloon to stay up. Like if you have a helium balloon, sooner or later the helium's going to go bad and it's going to start to drop down. So if you want that balloon to stay up, you have to continually put helium in it. Or I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we had hot air balloons there, right? The one thing about that is that balloon would stay up as long as there was heat inside that envelope. And so when the pilot wanted to go up, he would literally add fuel to that fire, and that fire would add a little bit more elevation for him. That's what we got to do when you're trying to get busy with anything that you have, your knowledge, your business, anything. You want that fuel that fuels that fire, that keeps that envelope full so that your balloon will stay in the air, so your bubble won't burst. You see people all the time crashing those balloons too. You know what it is? It's failure to plan. It's not having a plan for Well, like we've talked about before, for the route that you take all the time, there's an accident. Oh, I've always flown this route, but I didn't realize the winds were so high today. So now it blew me into a lamppost or maybe electric line. And now all of a sudden I'm back on the ground. So it doesn't matter what you're flying, whether you're flying in your car, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to make your knowledge better, you're working on a passion. The biggest thing you can do is keep fueling it because that's the only way you're going to stay up there. That's why the 5 things are so important. As you're adding fuel to that knowledge, reading on it every day, researching on it every day, you're going to get better at whatever it is, right? One of those things that Cap talked about is looking in the mirror at yourself and being able to recite something or be able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I can, I will. And I think that's how Cap does most of what he does. And that's why me and him both have things written on our mirrors and around our houses that remind us of what that is. Those are the things that keep adding fuel to our fire. And yes, those are the things that keep us with the air inside our envelope so that we can stay up in the air. This doesn't happen by accident. Me and Cap will lose motivation just as quick as you and I. So
150%, man. Before I go down that hot air balloon rabbit hole, you tripping triggers in me. Hey, I'm upset, dude. You claim to be a movie buff, and a lot of these people, I can't believe this right now. I am
I only like the old movies, man. Like the
I,
old like
bro, bro,
comedy
bro. Just
movies
give me,
that
come
were
on, come on,
like
come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
after
You're
about
telling me, you're telling me you
95-ish,
don't know
99, I
Bubble
stopped
Boy.
watching.
You don't know Bubble Boy. You're telling me you ain't ever seen Bubble Boy.
Stop the
Homie
cap.
trapped in his bubble and he's got his he's in love with this chick and bro, it's the best. It's the best. He's so scared of the world and he lives inside his little bubble and it's just a story of not being afraid of the world and breaking out of your own little bubble. It's so good, man. It's so good, man. I can't
I'll
believe
have
you
to
never
look it
seen
up.
Bubble Boy.
Maybe that would be
Ah!
something for grandpa night, grandpa movie night, because I haven't seen it. If it's that
Oh,
good, maybe
dude.
we ought to do that. You know,
I think
I
it's
don't know.
like 92, 93, maybe? Don't quote me
You
on
know
that. I
what?
don't
What
know for sure.
about Bob is the closest thing I know to living in a bubble that's like that. And
What
that's a
about
great
Bob's a
movie.
banger? What about Bob? Oh, it's
Shout out,
2001.
man.
2001
That's
Bubble
why.
Boy.
What did I just tell you? After about 98, 99, I stopped watching movies.
And if you didn't recognize, the man in the bubble is Jake Gyllenhaal. Banger.
Oh,
Banger.
I know who that guy is. Okay. Oh,
Yes,
wow. Okay. Okay.
yes, yeah. So yeah, it's a good one.
Wow.
It's a good one.
That
It's a good one.
hey, interest
Who's to say
peaked.
who's not?
Interest peaked.
Who's to say? Who's to know? Just a little shameless plug for Bubble Boy. Nobody mentions it these days anymore,
You
clearly.
know, I did
But
like your hey, you've always had the little pin in your pocket to pop it. That was pretty. I just
that
chef's
was pretty
kiss.
good, huh? That wasn't
I
bad,
like
huh? The pin back in the pop, maybe the pop. I don't know. I was
yeah,
just the brain turning,
pretty good.
burning.
I
It's
wrote it down.
like maybe I
Thought it was
should be a
fire.
motivational speaker or something. I don't know. Maybe we should start a
Bro, it's
podcast.
like you've done this for like
Ah,
581 episodes, bro. I
yeah,
don't
maybe
know
that.
what it
I
is.
don't.
I feel the
I
same
don't.
way every now and then. I feel like, all right.
I don't know. Who's to say? Who's to know?
Don't be
But
rude.
talking. Don't be rude. But talking about adding fuel to your fire, I wrote that down and I started that, man. I haven't talked about it since we've been live on YouTube, but you have that little flame inside of you, right? And that little flame is your gift. And first back up, what is your gift? Your gift is what you do with the least amount of effort, but produce the best quality, right? So maybe you're a musician, right? Maybe you're like Swirl, like a DJ, right? And you just like at the end of the night make a little music, whatever. And every night you're just banging out a song, and it's fucking easy for you, and it's no problem. But you don't ever, I'm never gonna take this anywhere. I'm not gonna do anything with it. Whatever. Well, maybe you could. Maybe it is that exact thing that you need to start pursuing. Maybe it is that little flame inside of you and it just burns and you could, you would, you should, but you just let it be a little pilot light. Well, if you want to be successful in whatever that thing is, your job is to go find the nearest can of gasoline and dump it on that flame and turn it into an enraging fire. And what does that mean? That means getting in the lanes, writing the business plan, starting to pursue the passion, using the secret formula. Everybody says, how do you find success? It's so hard to pursue your passions, to be an entrepreneur, this and that. No, it's not. There is a secret formula that nobody will tell you about that I will tell you right now. Open your ear holes wide, get out your notebooks and your pens if you ain't been taking notes. A dream with a date next to it becomes a goal. That goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And that plan, backed by daily consistent action, becomes your reality.